how is thesis life, my dear? How does it go? Is it the continued path of edumacation?
Being that this is the third thesis that I've written in my life, it's going as well as it could go.
Have you learned anything in the previous two theses that are helping in this thesis?
um, um, it's just a lot of work. It's just a lot of work, very tedious work, especially if it's qualitative research.
I feel you. Is a thesis pretty much just like a long ass paper, or like
I
is it for like
mean,
structured a certain way?
uh, what are we comparing it to?
Like our MLA format high
Oh
school
no,
paper?
we do APA. We do APA. MLA is
Oh,
it's not just like an intro, body paragraphs, and then a conclusion. I mean, kind of, kind of. It's just a
just
lot
with
more work,
more research.
especially depending on the type of research you do too. A qualitative, you're
Mm,
dealing with more of interviews, field research, and all that kind of stuff. Where quantitative is more surveys, more statistics, which is trash. So interviews,
I feel
it
you.
is. Yeah.
And like it is like your whole degree is tied to like communications and like digital content creation, or is it just like anything that ties to just like storytelling or like having products, or like how what does it cover? Like, cuz I remember you were saying it's like
Well,
film.
yeah,
What
it,
was
it
the other
covers. I
part?
mean, because it's a university level, it's a lot of. We did a lot of theoretical work. Media and creative industries. I think that's also a very broad. What do you call broad subject program? So that allows me to kind of have my hand in a lot of different industries, mainly entertainment, but I can also do advertising, branding, and so on and so forth. It's broad, which is nice because that means like you can dabble in a lot of other things and still be relatively qualified in a way, or get away with being relatively qualified. But because it's so broad, it's kind of like, there's a beauty in studying something like nursing. Like, you finish school, that's your job, you're a nurse. And it's kind of already set out. You don't need to look for a job because, I mean, yeah, you do, but in terms of occupation, you're a nurse, or you can go through the ranks within a hospital. But like when you do stuff like this, or tourism management, which was my bachelor's, it's more of, cool, yeah, I have a sector where I can find jobs, but it's still relatively broad, which is nice, but there are some downsides as well, I think.
I feel you. Are you gonna want to like help out with St. Martin's tourism, or like how St. Martin is branding itself like as a place to explore and go? Or is it more of like you want to be in like entertainment and help with like more interesting types of like creation, whether it be for like commercial ads or like,
Yeah, I rather
I
do
don't
that.
know,
I like the
if like
creative
films,
aspects of
stuff like
that.
that.
Yeah, I like the creative aspects of that side. I really like to, work with creativity. I feel like tourism, for me, that program, people are probably gonna think this is a little crazy, but I used that bachelor's to get out of St. Martin. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that my time to leave was then. I knew that if I took a year off to try to figure my shit out in terms of what I wanted to study, I wouldn't have studied, because I always classified myself as not a school person, despite the fact that I've both gotten a bachelor's, a pre-master's, and I'm about to finish my master's. Um, but I know that if I didn't didn't continue, that I would have stopped. And so the bachelor's for me was like, a okay, I can get out of St. Martin, I can get a bachelor, so I have something to lean on if I decided to pursue something else. And it was an experience, and I'm glad I did it. Obviously, like, I have something to fall back on. I learned so much, both academic wise and just life wise. And with this pre-masters and masters in the media and creative industries, I it's so much more interesting. In the 2 years that I've been doing this program, I think I have performed way better academically than I did in the 4 years of my bachelor's. And that just goes to show that my interest also lied somewhere else. So I think I'm gonna follow the more creative route rather than the tourism route. Plus, I'm sorry, I love my island, proud to be a St. Martiner, but they got a lot of shit they need to get through. So for me to think about going back and living there and creating a life for myself, another life for myself than what I lived when I was younger, I mean, yeah, they got a lot of shit that they need to figure out. Stop building shit on one of our nicest beaches. One, how about get our government in fucking check? Two, actually, two,
I
three,
feel you.
four, and
That should
then
be
and then we can go
like
from there.
I feel you. I feel you. I guess I'm curious, like talking off St. Martin real quick, like when people in the Netherlands like hear that you're from St. Martin, like do they assume that like because like I feel like in America, like people typically assume if you're black that you've been through like some traumatic ass life, you know what I mean? And you had to like break down a bajillion doors just to like get a chance at anything. I'm curious, like in the
Hmm.
Netherlands, do people like feel that way when you say like, "Oh, I'm from like an island," or are they usually like, "Oh my god, like really, you island?" Or
Yes, that it's always really like, or it's either where is that, or really, or really, why did you come here? What are you doing here when the weather back home is so? It's always like a set of five relatively the same
standard
answers. Standard
responses?
responses, exactly. And then it's kind of, you got to go through the same conversation at a certain point. Hopefully, a lot of other people from St. Martin, um, I know they go through that as well, where it's like the same conversation of, "What are you doing here?" "I'm here to study and get a degree." And it's like, "Oh, but it's such great weather, and I can imagine the lifestyle back home." It's like, yeah, you're right, but also, I need to
We ain't got shit to
get it.
do,
Yeah,
so
we got shit to do.
like,
Plus, Dutch passports, so it's easier for us to transition here, legally and all.
I
Legally,
feel you.
yeah.
I feel you. It's funny when people think that it's like when they think they know the island, but really they don't know, and like they convince themselves that they know and they've been there. And I'm like, babe, I'm like getting this gut instinct that you think this is a different island than what I'm telling you. And they're like, yeah, like I went to St. Thomas too. I'm like, oh, yep, you're already
I went
off
to St.
track, my
Thomas too.
dear. Yeah, they're like, I'm like, babe, we're off track. Different
Yeah,
different
not
group
the
of
same
islands.
island, same region though,
Not the
so good on
same.
you for that. I've had that here. Obviously, a lot of people um try to locate it in terms of Curacao and Aruba, because I mean a lot of Dutch people go to Curacao, and also KLM does a lot of deals going to Curacao. But in America, it's always Jamaica
Yeah,
in
or
terms
like
of
just
where
like
it
the
is. That
Virgin
close to
Islands.
Jamaica? Nope, not close to Jamaica, but again, good, like you got the region, so good on you. Um yeah, and then here it's either Curacao or Aruba. Is that close to Curacao?
Yeah, it's weird
Yeah,
because it's like
sure.
even still like I'm like, yeah, if we're not on most maps, I'm like that is a fact. Like we're pretty much always forgotten, but
Yeah.
Google didn't forget us. So,
We're that little speck on the
there's
map
nice.
that you think is like dirt.
It's not a real
You
place.
go to
Yeah,
wipe it out.
exactly. Like you think it's a smudge, but really
Yeah.
it's like my whole country. But no.
Mhm.
I guess like so when did you get into bouldering? Like how did this start? Like cuz I know I've seen Alanda doing a lot of this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah, but I
it's
wasn't sure
like,
like did Alanda start first and then like you like were going with her? Like how did this thing like is this just the thing that people be doing? Like
no, I think we both kind of started doing it, and then I remember I told her that I was bouldering, so she goes, "Oh, I also boulder," and then that was kind of like a fun surprise. And she has the
mm.
boulder gyms that she goes to in Den Haag. It's can be challenging depending on the routes. So bouldering is how I describe it is pretty much like rock climbing, but PG-13. You're not on a line. You're not connected to anything. It's not that high, but it is high enough that if you were to fall wrong, you can hurt yourself. Um, and yeah, there's in my gym. I think I don't know about all the other boulder halls, but in the one that I go to, there's I think 7 different levels. I think, and each level is color coordinated, and each level is obviously a difficulty. And with that, the roots are set different. The holds become different. It's a lot about technique, and when you see people who are more what do you call it, who are more experienced, it looks so easy because the way that they move, it's very dynamic, and there's a lot of techniques that go into it, and a lot of ways that you kind of need to learn to sustain yourself so that you can reach the final boulder. And when you see them do it, they make it look so easy. But it's also like a fun way of exercising too. That's how I look at it. It's not just going to the gym and
It seems like a whole body workout because you're constantly moving with body weight and you need to like balance yourself and like all of these different positions to get
yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
top.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever tried
Definitely.
timing like how much calories it burns to do that? Like do one of the levels?
No, but I would recommend if people are interested in sportive activities and kind of challenging yourself. I think bouldering is a really interesting sport to try out because it's you can also kind of bet with yourself. You challenge yourself to be like, okay, I've done this one, so let's see if I can do this one. Let's see how far I get. Let's see if you kind of like challenge yourself and set goals for yourself. And when you meet them, it is very nice.
I feel you. Like empowering. You're like, I'm a bad bitch. Like I just climbed that. I guess it's like,
Yeah.
do you jump from the top when you're there or you have to climb back down? Like,
I mean, I do jump because I am lazy to climb back down. So it's kind of just like I just climb my ass back up here. I don't want to I don't want to climb my way back down. So I do jump. Um but it is also a training that you do climb back down. You kind of like figure out your route back down and ways to move your body and do that stuff too.
I
But
see.
yeah.
And can you translate that to like real rock climbing or like you're like, I would never actually climb a mountain?
Oh, I'm not qualified enough to even answer that
Oh,
because
okay,
I
okay.
feel like it can help. You're kind of entering the world of that. You're kind of entering that world, so it would help in a way instead of just jumping into rock climbing one time and you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I think it does help. It kind of sets the tone. Is the best way to say it. But yeah,
Yeah. I just wasn't
I
sure if
would
it
say
was like
though,
training for it, you know?
no, 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 it's its own sport, but it does kind of introduce you to that world. I will say though, the uh when you do it for the first time or if you haven't done it in a while and you go, the muscle pain the next day, that shit kills. That shit kills.
Like
It just
where is
goes and
sore? Like your arms, like your
your arms,
butt, like your
sometimes your
core,
abs,
like
because
or is it just everything?
obviously you're engaging your core on certain moves. Sometimes one leg is more sore than the other because you're using it more. Your back on a certain area, yeah, your neck sometimes.
I think that's interesting because it is at least working like different muscle groups that like maybe a regular, exercise regimen would miss because you're like doing all
Yeah.
these weird contortions. But I guess like what like is that typically how you stay active out there? And like obviously I know you're riding bikes in shoes, but
Yes,
or
the
is there
bike is
like
my trans.
I feel you. I think that is interesting bike life in the Netherlands, but I guess like, is there a student gym at, like, your campus, or, like, do you mostly just stay active with the bouldering and I mean, because 'cause you're
I
pretty fit,
used to
like, you've
go.
always been pretty fit.
Eh, I haven't really been working out. I mean, the most of my workouts, which is kind of sad now, is like biking. I'll go for walks sometimes, emphasis on sometimes, and then bouldering from here and there. No gym. I don't know, man. It's also too hot to be sit in a room lifting weights.
Facts. I was doing hot yoga in, like, a heat wave here, and I was low key like, "Why am I doing this?" Like, I'm like, "You're
They didn't.
sweating just to sweat outside again." Like, I'm like, "What? No."
Hot
And you
yoga
knew it was
sounds
hot because
interesting
they,
though.
like, gave you, like, a cool rag afterwards.
Oh
Oh, no,
shit.
hot yoga, I'm telling you, is crack. It is my crack. I I am will chant it from the mountaintops. If you can find it, if you can do it, people try it. It is amazing. Like even now, regular yoga ain't shit. Like I just like I
But
need
you,
it. Like it's so good.
is it just a room with closed windows and then just like
Okay, so I don't know, like maybe it might be different from like studio, to
yeah.
studio, but like at least the one that I go to, if there is like, so there's like a room, just like imagine like a regular room with like wood floors or whatever. And then there's like two big ass heaters like near the like entrance door. And then there's like the rest of the room and they have like these like little, I want to say like a humidifier or like heat, I don't know, little thingies just like in the corners. And then there's like the like an extra exit door, like imagine like an emergency door.
Mhm.
And most I feel like most studios have it where they have, like, maybe a wall of heater, so, like, the room is generally the same temperature. At this place, because the big ass heaters are, like, near the entrance, like, you can kinda position yourself based on, like, how much heat you want to experience, assuming it's not, like, a packed ass class, you know? And
Mhm.
then, so I usually go, like, more towards the exit door because to be under them heaters is not it. Like, it is oh my god. I don't understand how people be under them because I feel like I would be dying of just heat exhaustion. That's how hot it is. Um, and then typically, like you have, depending on the class, so like there are like two like more traditional classes. So you have your hot hatha and like your hot vinyasa. And hatha to me is more of like a intro if you're like not 100% into yoga or anything. Like hatha to me would be like the intro, and vinyasa is like the more like hardcore flow because it's more of a flow, whereas hatha is like a very specific sequence of moves. And the thing that I like about it is like it's guided, so like I don't have to think about what the next position is. Like I can kind of just listen to the instructor and focus on my breath and my body. And it's nice to be in a room with like other people also doing the same thing. But then it's like the same kind of flow every time. So like you're still building like the like different muscle groups, and like depending on the professor, like or the guide, they might like tweak the flow a little bit based on like, oh, like we want to focus on building arm strength this month, or like building back strength, or building like flexibility. They might tweak the class for that, and then it's like the same kind of flow every time. And I like it because I can already like, for one, it helps you get deeper into your stretches. And for me, the reason I did it was because I really wanted to stretch out like my legs and my low back, because I felt like that was giving me a lot of like just like pain, and
Mhm.
annoyingness that I didn't really like. And just like through, so I started like when? Like January of this year? Yeah, January of this year is when I started. And till now, like I can already feel so much deeper in just like my low back. Like I can feel parts of my low back that I've probably never really paid that much attention to be like, oh damn, like I can really go that deep back there and there still be more to like stretch out. Like it's crazy. And just like
Are
building,
y'all
I
like
can see
slipping
like
on the
I'm
mats?
building strength. Oh, so this is what I learned because when I first got there, I just had like a regular yoga mat, just like anybody else. And then I started to realize like these people would have these like this other like towel thing on top of their yoga mat, and they would be pouring water on it. And I'm like, why the fuck? Like, why are these people pouring water on their yoga mat? Like, I really didn't get it. I was like, what is up with these people? And then one day this girl came up to me and she was like, oh, like, why don't you have one of those like mats? And I was like, oh, like, I just don't know like what it's for. And I'm trying to be cheap. So I was like, I need it. I ain't getting it. Like, just extra shit that the yogis want. I'm like, I need it. And she was like, oh no no no, like it helps like protect your mat because like obviously you're sweating like all the time. Like your mat is gonna get dirty. Like you want to keep it clean. And she was like, it also helps with like your
Oh.
grip, which is why they wet that thing. So I was like, oh, like interesting. So then I bought one. And yeah, now I use that on top of my mat. So it helps with like the slipping and stuff like that. Cause it has like these grippies on the back of it that like grip into my
Mhm.
mat. And so usually like slipping and stuff isn't too much of an issue for me. Um, Honestly, like I feel like my biggest issue anytime is just like staying with my breath, staying focused with my breath, not like trying to stay present in the movement. Um And just, like, being persistent, because there's sometimes where, like, you just be wanting to, like, go in your child's pose and just woo-saw, but then I have to be like, "No, like, you got this, like, you're almost there, just keep pushing," and then by the time you're done in
Woosah.
Savasana, I'm just, like, melting into my mat, and then, like, it feels so good, like, you sleep really well, like, I can feel I be giving myself freaking chiropractor treatments, bro, just, like, crack, 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 it'd be everything. And like low key, like subconsciously, I think like one of the other reasons that I do it is because I think of yoga as like a form of sacred geometry. And like when
Mhm.
we as like beings that have bodies like flow in this sacred geometry, I believe that like it helps um connect us to like the source of consciousness that helps realign our bodies and helps us be in a better state to like be vehicles of like the flow of consciousness. And so for me, like I think of it as like realigning like my energy body as much as realigning my physical body. And I don't know, like I feel like it helps you tap in deeper into like this self that we have, which I like. And then honestly, like the community is just really awesome. Like they have community meditation, like the people are really
How long is the
sweet,
class normally?
and
Like an
it's nice to
hour?
kind of have. Yeah, it's like an hour. And then they have like
Okay.
other classes too. So like outside of Hatha and Vinyasa, like there's your yin class, which is for deep, deep like stretching. So like for me in the beginning, like I really wanted to work on like my stretching and my ligaments and stuff. And so that's what you do for more like restorative work. And then they have like aerial yoga classes where you're like actually doing yoga with those like those like those fabrics that come from the ceiling. You know what I'm talking about?
The fabrics that come from the ceiling?
Yeah, like you ever see those people that like be flowing in like fabric that be like attached to the
Oh, like
ceiling?
that. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. So
aerial
they have
something or
classes.
something.
Yes, yes, yes. Aerial. That's it. Yeah. So they
Oh.
have that. And then they have like this like so the one that I do like in the summer especially to like get your girl, sculpted and ting. We have like this like a weighted sculpt flow yoga. And oh my god,
Mhm.
Rachel, that class be beating my ass. Like, oh my
A
gosh,
weighted
like it's
sculpt
so
yoga.
hard, but so good. So it's like hit meets vinyasa meets heat. Well, it's not really heated. It's more like warm. It's not like they have the full heat, but they keep the
Yeah,
room
yeah,
really
yeah.
warm. And it's like nonstop for the hour, just going like with weights and like body movement, compound movement, isolated movement. Like I never knew my muscles could twitch as much as they be twitching after that class.
That one sounds interesting.
I like it because it's more of like because I hate going to the gym now that I found hot yoga. Like to me, gym is whack. Like people, like I understand why people are gym life because I feel that for yoga. I'm a hot yoga
Yeah.
follower. Like I will
I'm
chant
a
it, like I said,
yogi.
from the mountaintops, like 100%. Like it just feels like right, like it just feels like it's what I'm supposed to be doing, and I love it. Like, I can't imagine my life without it. I don't know why I haven't done it forever. Because every time I've done yoga, like, I've always loved it. So it's like perfect for me. I don't know.
Well, now you found it. I've yet to
I
try
know, but you
yoga.
should try it, bro. You gotta try it. I feel like you would like it too, because you like that shit. And I don't know, it's nice. It feels good. Like when you're done, especially after that sculpt one, you be feeling like a baddie because I'm telling you, that is just hard, bro. Oh my gosh. Oh my
Yes, I've yet to
gosh.
try it. It's on the
So
list.
hard.
It's on the list.
I feel you.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to even get Will to try it. This man, oh my god, he's so funny. He cannot stretch. It's hilarious. I'm like, bro, you need yoga more than me. Like, oof. But yeah, like that's just how I help like myself recharge usually. It's like I do it 4 times. What? I lie. I do it 3 times a week because technically Tuesday I do meditation during the time that I would otherwise do yoga. And so like I do it, yeah, 3 times a week. And that's pretty much all I do. And like I can already see my body like changing in ways that like It's just like crazy. I'm like, oh my god, like my legs are low key, like girl,
Muscles.
you know,
Hello.
muscles. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Welcome.
when did you get here? Like
Definition.
what?
Come through the
I
door.
know. I'm
Hello.
like gains, gains. Plus, I feel like it's such a
Yeah.
good mental health challenge too, because it's like helping you deal with stress and helping you like work through stress. Because it's like when you're doing like physical activity, it's a stressful endeavor. And it's like, how do you keep the mind calm? How do you keep the mind focused? How do you keep the mind present? So it's definitely a very interesting like mental health. I feel like exercise as
I
well.
have
But
heard that when people who've done yoga, they mention, oh yeah, it is physically challenging, but also mentally, I don't want to say soothing, but there's also a huge mental aspect of that as well. With all physical activity, yes, but in terms of yoga, everyone's always like, I feel more calm, I feel more settled, more so and so. So I have heard that as well.
yeah, because I mean, you have like it forces you to focus. You know, it's not like you can't not focus when you're trying to do your like down your balancing poses. Because if you're not focused, you're gonna fall. You know, and so it's like when you're in that state of like pure focus and concentration, that's similar to like meditation, which is what I hear a lot of people say is like their yoga is like a meditation, a flowing meditation, because it
Hmm.
forces you to stay present because if you're not in the present then you're going to fall out or like and so it's interesting because like the teachers especially when you're in shavasana which is corpse pose like they tell you like this is the pose to get all of the work from everything that you've just done for the past hour so let your body melt into the ground let the earth hold you she's gonna support you just let it all go just focus on your breath and let all that good energy, all that good work. Because to me, what I think is like really interesting about it is the energy that we build when we do things and like how our bodies are able to like build that energy and build that heat. To me, that is
Hmm.
very interesting. And so that's why I like it because it like I'm curious about all that, you know me. I'm far into all that shit. And so it's like very interesting to see it happen in a physical way where like most practices, they don't really have like that physical component that you can tap into and be like, everything that I'm learning, I can also experience, you know? So I like that.
Interesting, Harshi.
I guess like what do you do to recharge? Or do you just chill and go for walks and
Boy, lately,
hang out with people?
yeah, that I mean during a lockdown era, remember when that was a thing? Remember when masks were a thing?
I
Lol.
feel like they trying to bring it back though, like for real. Ugh.
In America?
Yeah, bro. I keep hearing like COVID and I'm just like,
Yo,
can we
y'all
be
don't have
done?
monkeypox jumping all around in America right now?
I mean, it's a whole freaking emergent. I don't know, bro. Biden said it's some sort of public emergency.
For the
I'm just like,
monkeypox?
Lord, can y'all? Yeah, it's something. So
Oh, you
something.
sound like
So
you're like you're worried.
I'm not. I mean, I had chicken
I know.
pox. It wasn't a fun
I don't
time
think that's the
then.
same shit,
So
Harsha.
I know it's not the same. Obviously, it's not the same monkey. I mean, if they was the same, they wouldn't have called it monkeypox. My thing is more of like, I'm just over the pandemics. I don't think Americans care at all. Honestly, I don't think they give the
Wait,
slightest
let
f
me read
about
what
it.
I type in monkeypox, and the first thing is, what do monkeypox do to humans? A rash that can look like pimples or blisters that appear on the face, inside the mouth, and other parts of the body, like the hands, feet, chest, genitals, or anus. Nice. The rash
Ooh,
goes through different stages before healing complete. Oh, so just like a. I shouldn't make it seem like it's chill because a rash on your
okay. Now I'm
genitals or anus
scared.
is not chill. That ain't chill.
No, I'm scared because I had a rash on my arm and it went away, and now I'm like paranoid.
Well, I don't think monkeypox. I think you would have known.
I mean, I hope so. I thought it was just an insect bite, but I've had chicken pox, so I know the
An
trauma of shit
insect
just popping up on you. I
an
don't know.
insect
Something
bite that they call
happened.
monkeypox, Harsha?
I don't know. something happened. There was a bump on my arm. It wasn't going away, and now it went away. So it's like when you read like WebMD and you think you have cancer every
Don't.
time, but like
Don't. You look up, I have a headache, and then it turns out you're either dying or growing a tumor
cancer,
or something.
you're dying. You have some fibrosis or
You only
parasite.
have
I
like
don't know.
5 days to live. Nah.
Okay, I feel like we got off topic though. So the
Yeah.
monkeypox, yeah, is a thing, but let's assume we're not going into
Yes.
a lockdown for it.
It's popping off in America. In America.
Because people nasty, bro. These people don't know how to wash their damn hands. Like, I'm not surprised. Like,
And masks might be coming back
I
for
mean, I
you.
have a good one. So, luckily for me, I have like an amazing mask, courtesy of Surface. Thank you, Erica.
I think
So yeah, I ain't worried about it. I got a good mask. Got that
no,
elite
but
shit. So,
life is wild now because you'd be walking like in the city amongst a bunch of people who don't know where their house is, and you're like, damn, remember when this wasn't allowed? Remember when we were wearing masks? Like sometimes on public transport I catch myself going, oh fuck, I don't have a mask, and then I'm like, wait, we don't need
you
one
don't
anymore.
need that.
No, that was our life, and then quick as ever it
Do
changed.
people not wear masks at all? Cause like here there's still a large flock of the population that love they mask.
Yeah, sometimes I see videos in America, people are still wearing their masks.
But in Netherlands they're not, like at all. Like nobody's wearing them.
You'll see some people in the grocery store, but I'm assuming that maybe means they have
They
corona.
are sick.
Yeah, or they're
Yeah.
sick or they just have the flu. I think in general, if you're sick, whether it be corona or the flu or a common cold, and you're in public, I think wearing the mask is a good idea.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But in general, like people aren't wearing them. Cause here I feel like people are wearing them out of like a fashion statement. Like I'm like, bro, like why are you like it's hot outside. Like what is going on here? Like you can breathe the air. You know this, right? Like it's
Damn, their upper lip
okay,
must be sweating.
bro. Who knows with these people, okay? Like America is a special place. That's what I've come to realize. But I guess then how are you recharging? Like given all of these changes, like what do you do?
When it's good weather, we go to the park.
What are the
and
parks? Like what are like the popular parks, or are there just like is it just like whatever?
if
It's
I
just what's
name them, would you
nearby.
know? I
I
could
mean, I
say a
could
bunch of
look them
names and you'd
up.
be, uh-huh. No, I
Yeah,
mean,
but
each city has
people
their
could
own
want to
parks.
know.
Each
I
city
feel
has
you.
their own parks, and there's a main
Yeah, but what
park
if I
in.
come and I'm like, I want to go to that park that Rachel talked about on the chattabox that one time? But if you don't tell me, like, how would I know?
Well, I know in Breda it's called Valkenburg Park. That's the main park close to the station. That's a nice park. A lot of people go there when it's nice weather. Bring your friends, bring your drinks. I boulder. What do you call it? I watch some good shows. I recently started watching Rick and Morty.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been seeing. It's actually pretty funny. Um,
Yeah.
what else? What else do I do to recharge? Not much lately, actually, which sounds kind of. Oh, and yeah, no, not really, actually. When you kind of like put it all in a list, it's not much.
You're like, I don't do much, Harsha. It's I'm
No.
just here. I mean, does
Yeah.
that mean like are you typically always of like good energy, or do you ever feel like you get like really depleted and like, or do you usually are pretty good at like balancing your
Oh
just
no.
like your
Sometimes
energy
I
levels
do
throughout
feel
the day?
myself like today. Like if it's really hot too, naturally you just get drained because this 32-degree weather is no joke, especially if you don't have a fan, which I don't. That's on me. Um, because these houses don't have friggin' fans, so
Do
you
they
have
have
to get your
central
own.
air at all, or nah?
No, open a window.
I feel you.
That's all we
Over
have.
here, they don't got that either. I don't get it. I'm like, guys, it's a heat wave, and they're like, yeah, well,
We'll stick it out.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, do you get heat waves in the summer now over there, or is it just like I don't know what 32 means in my head. I'm just like that's a
Um,
number.
32 Celsius to Fahrenheit. We'll just take a quick break while I Google.
Even still, I
89.6.
don't even know. Oh, okay. Okay. That's
I
not
mean,
too bad.
okay. That's hella bad.
I mean, I mean, it's St. Martin's at least in the 90s, like it's
Yeah,
I.
but you got
It's
breeze. You got
oh,
beaches. It's a
it's the
different kind of
truth.
heat.
This
Here,
is
here it's like a sticky kind of heat, and all these
oh,
people want to be in
like
the
a
sun.
Texas heat, like a
I don't know, Harsha. I've never been to Texas.
it's because they don't
I
get
couldn't
it
tell you
all
that.
day. I feel yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, I like it when it's hot out just because, like, as melanin, like, I feel like my melanin needs the recharge. Like,
No,
I'm
it's
getting too
nice.
light
It's
out
nice
here
to
in this
get a
country.
little sun, but like, if you wanna listen, Dutch
I mean, you
people
burn like
love
a
their
lobster.
sun.
Let's remember.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Look, Dutch people
guess.
love the sun, which, to an extent, rightfully so, because during winter it's brutal. But if you're going out to
Yeah.
get drinks with them and something, and they're like, "Ooh, can we have a spot in the sun?" It's like, I'm not trying to sit in the sun and cook,
Oh,
you know?
I feel
I'm
you.
not trying to I'm not trying to hydrate and dehydrate in the span of
At the
seconds
same
right now, you
time.
know? So
Yeah.
like you could sit in the sun, but I want to sit in the shade. Maybe have
In the
like an arm,
shade.
not even an arm in the fucking sun.
Do they have like an umbrella or something, or straight
Yeah,
under
of
sun?
course. But a lot of the times, like when I work at work, a lot of the people made sure being like, "Oh, do you have a space in the sun? Well, could we move this in the sun?" And it's like, "Yo, it's hot as hell out
Like,
here."
why? Why do you want to go direct under the heat
Yeah, I
lamp?
mean, to
Why?
each their own, but it be hot, and it's not like there's a bunch of wind anyways.
It's just heat. Heat
It's
upon
just
heat.
heat. And then we have the lakes, which is weird.
The lakes?
Yeah, I've
How is
never
that weird?
experienced a lake before. I've never experienced a lake before.
Oh,
So, I mean, rivers, yeah,
interesting.
in like Grenada and stuff, I've experienced rivers, but a lake, I was like, we went to a lake. First of all, there's a lot of ducks there, so it was like a duck shit mine. You
It's
had to
their
really
home,
walk.
Rachel. Where else they
Yeah,
supposed to shit?
I
They don't
know. I'm
have
not
duck
complaining about
toilets.
that, but like you gotta
I
tiptoe
feel
because
you.
you don't want to step on duck shit. And
I
then
feel
like
you.
when we
Ew.
jumped in the water, I don't know why my head was like, okay, body of water, salty. Like my head automatic. I'm just so used to the beach where so it like the water went in my mouth and I was shocked that it wasn't
Like, ah,
salty. I was like, wait,
like
fuck, we're in
where's
a
the
lake.
salt?
Yeah,
I feel you. Yeah. America has
strange.
tons of lakes. So for me, I've gotten used to it because in Michigan, there's the Great Lakes, and obviously it's fresh water.
Hmm.
But I feel you, like, at least the lakes that I've been to haven't had too much of the duck poo poo, but I feel you because there are like access to lakes where you can see the ducks are obviously this is their residence. And like to me
Hmm.
it's weird like to see people let their kids just run up and down. I'm like, "Bro, this is how you catch some shit." Like, I don't know.
That's another thing too. My head was like, how does the stuff in here circulate? Like I can't see the floor. What's going on? you know?
Was it like a dark lake,
So
not like a clear blue lake?
no, it was dark.
Ooh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
no
like I mean, you
no
could see your
for me.
hands,
Oh, okay,
but you
okay.
can't see all the
You
way to
can't
the
see the
ground.
floor. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Interesting experience.
I mean, that's your first lake. Don't let that be
No, I know,
there's
I know,
some
I know.
other pretty lakes. I feel especially in Europe, I feel like there's a lot of beautiful stuff to
Yeah,
see. So,
there is, there is.
was
This
it
is just
cold
my
as
introduction.
ice or was it just regular? Cuz the
Yeah, because
lakes
this was
here
this
be
was a
cold as
couple
ice.
this was a couple months ago, so it was still pretty and we went in the morning. So that shit would
You're
wake you up too.
crazy. Oh hell yeah. Like that the Wim
Mm,
Hof. I mean you have to practice your Wim Hof breathing techniques cuz it's so
I don't know what that
cold.
is.
You don't know who Wim
It
Hof
it wasn't
is?
that cold. It wasn't like it wasn't. It was cold where you're like, okay, it's time to fucking get out because I can't really feel my hands right now. But it wasn't like you had to break the ice to get in there.
Mm. Oh no no no, nothing like that. But no, Wim Hof's a Dutch dude. He's a fellow, you know, Dutchy.
Dutchy,
He like pretty much like
fellow
came up with
Dutchy.
like this breathing technique to help with stress, and he's like swam in the Arctic with like no clothes, okay, with like shorts
Damn,
on, you know. And like he like did all this stuff that like scientists thought was like impossible, but he did it all through just controlling his breath and being present, and like because he has such a good body mind relationship, like even when it's frigid cold outside, like he can tell his body to increase its internal body temperature or maintain its internal body temperature so that the external cold does not like affect him physiologically at all. It's like pretty dope. And so like he created this whole technique with like breathing that like apparently some people can like get into really interesting states of consciousness just doing his breathing technique. Like I've tried it a few times, but yeah, I'm not like a consistent girl with the Wim
a
Hof
consistent
technique, you
breather.
know. Yeah, consistent.
Yeah,
But I was curious, like in the snow, do they pay like shovel it for biking, or like
it
how
hardly
does
snows
that
here during the
work?
winter.
Really?
It's more rare for it to snow. Not rare,
That's
but most of the
interesting.
time, like maybe 1 or 2 days, it might snow, but a little, and it's like that shitty snow.
Oh, so it's never like
But
winter
you know what's
wonderland
funny?
snow?
No, no. But you know what's funny is that this country is used to rain. Like it's known for being rainy, especially during the autumn and winter seasons. And yet when it's really rainy or really windy or it kinda snows, and emphasis on kinda, fucking public transport acts like they've never seen anything like this in their lives. You know, like shit gets canceled, shit's behind schedule, and it's like you're literally always raining or windy or dealing with some kind of depressing ass weather. But public transport's like, what? Rain? We don't know how to function. Cancel all routes.
That's hilarious. In America, they're like,
Ugh.
"Oh, it's snowing." Like, especially in Michigan, they're like, "Oh, it's snowing." They're like, "Babe, you better get outside and catch that bus because it's not gonna wait for you. Like, you better be on it because,
Lord, they're not
like,
even
it's
like a
like
little
okay, it's
sympathetic.
not funny, but sometimes like the snow will be so bad that the buses get into accidents because they can't even
Oh
stop
yeah,
because the snow
yeah,
is
yeah,
so
yeah.
bad. And I mean,
Damn,
it's
that's
like it's
rough.
very and they still keep it pushing. They don't care. They're like, "It's snowing. Yeah, but you still got
Life
shit
don't
to do,
stop for
babe."
no one. Yeah, exactly.
Whereas here in Washington, they're like, "It snows, shut down the whole state. Like we cannot, guys, not today."
Damn.
Michigan was like, "Snow?
Figure it
Get
out.
this." Yeah, they're like, "No, babe." In Washington, they're like, "Stay in your house. Don't go
Yeah, stay
outside.
safe.
Stay safe, guys."
Michigan's like, yeah.
You been there, done that,
So,
babe.
yeah.
Like we got this. Like
What's new?
we
Like,
out
get your ass
here.
to work.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, we got shit to do. Like, no, babe, no. But it's interesting
Hmm.
because America, I feel like, is not very much like a bike friendly country. As much as like in college towns, sure, you know, like there are people that bike like from Seattle to work, which to me is crazy, but they do it. But like it's not like I feel like in the Netherlands where like it's very much built for bikes and less
Yeah.
for like cars.
I wouldn't say less for cars. City areas, I feel that is the case. Less for cars, more for bikes. Because like getting around cities in a car, at least I know for I can speak for Breda.
Yeah.
It's just it's like very complicated because you can't go here. This is a one way street. You can't drive here. You have to go here. You have to go around here. But it's very accessible by bike. I mean, there's designated, what do you call it, roads for bikes. It's a painted
Interesting. Do they
hat
have
place for
those like
bikes.
bikes that you can just rent? Like, have
Yeah,
you
yeah,
ever
yeah,
seen those where like or like scooters you can just rent?
yeah. We have um, I think it's called swap feeds. Feeds being bike, and you
Mm.
can rent that. You pay like monthly,
Oh.
and it's one of these. I think it's called swap feeds, and it's kind of like you pay a certain amount a month. It's your bike for the amount of time that you're paying, and then like if you get stuck somewhere where a wheel is broken or something, or if a wheel breaks, or if this something happens to something, that I think that's covered. So you can bring it in, they'll fix it, or
That's
they meet you, they
interesting.
fix it. Yeah, I think that's
But
how it
like
works. I've never
there's like
actually.
things in America where it's like not like that, but it's more of like a pay as you ride. So it's like you get an app and like you
Yeah, 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 we have
buy
that
like
too,
your
but
rides, you know?
those are scooters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Scooters,
Yeah,
yes.
we have that too. Like, there's a couple companies that have risen here, where you have the app and you locate where they're parked, and I think you pay per ride, which is
Yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
funny. People be stealing them or like breaking them
Yeah,
or like
I've
letting them
seen.
leaving them in the street.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen. There's actually an Instagram page dedicated to these scooters, the way they're placed, the way they're like the random ways they're placed, parked, blown up, is wild.
Yeah, it's rough. That's a rough
Nah, but
business. I would be so
I'm
pissed.
curious. I'm curious how, like, how people, not necessarily people from St. Martin, but because we're from St. Martin, it's more relevant for us. But
Yeah.
what were their first experiences moving here, and and having to get a bike and using that as your transportation? Because I mean, once you're in it, it's normal, obviously, but we're not used to that shit back home. So coming up here, and you have your bike and you have to bike here, and then also that experience of going out and having to bike home kind of under the influence, that's also pretty funny,
I
you
could
know?
imagine just trying to keep it straight, just trying to get on the bike, just trying to unlock it,
Yeah,
trying to remember where the hell you even put the bike in the first place.
that's, and then when we have like really windy weather, shit, trying to bike in like that kind of weather is also a joke. You're not even moving.
But it's mostly flat, right? So it's not like you have to do like a lot of uphill or downhill.
Oh no, Holland don't have hills. They might have a bump.
Okay. Cause yeah, that's the one thing I didn't like is like if you gotta do all these uphill and downhill, I'm like, babe, no,
No, no.
no,
Here it's
no.
no, but it's a nice it's a nice little. It's like exercising, but you're also getting places.
I
It's
feel you. I
one
feel
way to
you.
look at it.
How many tattoos do
Definitely
you have now?
a random switch, but
I mean, is it random though? I mean, I just be curious, you know.
I only have two now.
Only two? I thought you had more.
No, I want more, but I only have two.
I feel you. Would you
Unfortunately,
get one
tattoos
like
are an
about St.
expensive
Martin?
hobby. Sorry?
They are. No, I was like they totally are expensive. No, I was wondering if like what are the tattoos you're thinking of? Like would you get one like of St. Martin like with like a message that ties
Homage,
to St.
with an
Martin? Yeah, like
homage to Saint Martin.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'd want it to be a little, because you see a lot of tattoos that are like the shape of Saint Martin, which is
Yeah.
classic. I will say it is a classic, nice
Yeah.
one. But also the coordinates.
Yeah.
Those are the top two.
The
I
top
would want
two or like
something.
721 or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. The area code. Um, yeah. So I would want something that has a tie to Saint Martin, but I just haven't figured out how
What
to
are the
make.
other like what are the ideas that you have for
I don't really have ideas.
I have 3 that I want to actually I have 4 that I would love feedback on from you. So,
Wait, wait, wait. How many tattoos do you have now?
1, just the 1.
Oh,
But I would like more too.
okay.
So, and I can show you. So like the one there's on my left bicep, upper bicep. I think I want to get one that's like of like the cosmic serpent.
Oh
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah. I
obviously
remember you
draw
told me
that
about that.
one. Yeah, yeah. Then on my right bicep, I do like how, like, you know how you have like the golden like right above your
Mhm.
elbow crease.
Mhm.
But I would want like some words or like like some like a sentence or something. I don't know what, but some sort of word play or some
It'll come to
sort.
you.
Yeah, and then on like the back bicep of the right arm, I saw this girl that had this like incredible when I was in Hawaii, she had like this cool ass like shroom tat. Like I imagine like you had like a rasterized image of like a different mushrooms. I thought that was
Mhm.
hella cool. And I love like the important role that they play in just like our being and like the recyclers of the world. So I wanted something like that on like the back arm. And then for like St. Martin, because obviously I agree, like I would love to have something that pays homage to like where I was birthed. I was
Uh-huh.
thinking of like, so I really like the idea. I've been seeing these like tattoos on Instagram where it's like imagine you had like a painting and then someone took like a line from that painting and then put it on you. But I don't know, like I want to have something that has like the flamboyant flower, like our
Mhm.
national flower, but like in a painting of sorts. But the thing is, I don't know where I would want to put that line or like that block or like a square cut out of like a painting. And it could be like a
Our
painting of like
national
a St.
flower,
Martin painter.
our
Did I
national
say it
flower is the yellow
wrong?
sage.
No, 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 no,
I
no,
just
not
googled
that
it.
one. There's the I know, but like the other one that like we see a lot in like our symbology, the flamboyant
Yeah, yeah,
flower,
yeah, yeah.
that
I know
like
what you mean, but
orangey. Oh, that's just
yeah.
it's like that's not our official flower, is what you're saying.
No.
Okay,
But
well, lessons
I think
learned.
yes. Yeah, I think yes. It says the yellow sage.
Yeah,
Google
but
says yellow sage.
um, what does Google know? I'm
I don't
kidding.
fucking know. Everything and nothing.
I swear it was. I do think it is the yellow sage. I think you're totally right about that.
Yeah, and then
Oh, it's our
plus
national tree. There we go. That's what it
flamboyant.
is. It's our national
Okay.
tree.
She got a
So
fat
yeah, the
pelican
yellow
on your
sage
back.
is our national flower. Oh hell no. Nope, I'm not doing that. That I'm
Our
gonna have
national
to
fucking bird. A big
thank
ass
you next.
pelican at your
Oh,
back.
I'm good. It's
But
cute,
like
but
upside
no.
down so the beak's on your ass.
Oh, like if it was like an image of the ones outside of our airport that got destroyed and rebuilt, like those. No,
Them
thank
demon looking
you.
ones.
I know, right? No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking at least. I don't
That could
know,
be
you
nice. So you're
know.
gonna be all tatted up.
Yeah, it's interesting because nobody ever sees my one tat, so I feel like people look at me like at work and think like this innocent, cute little girl, and I'm like, babe, you don't even know the tip of the iceberg, boo boo. Like,
Wait, how does it with your employees at Microsoft? Are there a lot of
yeah,
people with tattoos?
um,
Because that's always a big thing. Like when you want to get tattoos in visible places, the first comment somebody makes is, "Yeah,
it's like
but
work.
for jobs though, that's
Well,
not a good
Microsoft is
idea."
a place that like I don't think they would care. You know what I mean? Like they would never say like, "Oh, Nicole, like you have a tattoo, you can't have that." I don't and especially don't think in my role like it matters that much. People don't I mean, like, some people have, like, but it's not, like, a big deal. It's not like they would ever be like, "Oh, we can't hire you because you have that there," or, like, because there's people that have, like, all kinds of piercings and, like, their hair is dyed all kind of colors and stuff, and they care more about, like, you being just your authentic self. So, from my perspective, I don't think it would matter. I think it would more just surprise people, like, what they think of
Mm-hmm.
me. They might be like, "Oh, Nicole, like, you got a tattoo?" Like, "Oh." Um, but other than that,
Okay,
I don't
good.
think it
Because
matters, you know?
I would like to think that that's not really a problem anymore, but of course it is.
Yeah,
Where
no, I
if you have
feel
a lot of
you.
tattoos, there's a certain perception
I mean, they can
already
think what they
stamped on you.
want. I mean, I feel you. And they can have that perception. Like I can't control that at the end of the day.
No,
But to
exactly.
me, I
But
think like I've already built a lot of respect and like
yeah.
people know that like I am obviously about my ish. So I don't think them seeing me show up with a tattoo would be like, "Oh my god, like who is this girl?" Like they still already kind of know me. So, have you bought any new plants lately?
Oh, my camera's not on, so you can't see. Yes, it has turned into somewhat of an obsession. Some might
I don't
say.
think it is an
Some might
obsession. I think it's an
say.
extension of self. I think it's like humans just wanting to rebuild the jungle indoors, you know.
Yeah, I know it's hard when you're walking and you pass a plant shop and then you accidentally get sucked in. Like, what are you supposed to do? Not buy a plant? You know?
I know. What are you
Like,
supposed to
you're
do?
already
Just
here,
not buy
not
it.
by choice. You know, you might as well browse. Let me ask you something.
I
And
feel you.
I've never done
Yeah.
this, but this is what do you call? Anyways, I'll just jump in. Is it
Okay.
called stealing? Technically stealing if you go to like a big plant store and take clippings so you can
What's a
propagate them. I've
clipping?
never done it, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't cross my mind. Like you just take a clipping of the plant so that you can propagate it at home.
Oh. I mean, if they catch you, yes, they could argue that you're hurting their plant. Um,
I'm
if
talking
they
about
don't
stealing. I'm
catch
not talking
you,
about you're
what
not
they don't
hurting the
know.
plant.
I'm confused. So yeah, I mean, if you take a cut, like, but the thing is, like, would they be fine with? I mean, I don't know.
No, they wouldn't be
Like, are you
fine with
taking a?
that
But you're saying
because
if
then
you
you're
did
not
it
buying
and
the
they
plant.
didn't know. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
Harsha,
exactly.
is it technically stealing if you take a clipping and you bring it home and grow it yourself? Because that way you didn't buy the plant.
Well, then yeah.
Is it? So we've determined that it is technically stealing.
I mean, if we're being technical about it, I would if I was the shop owner and Rachel came into my shop and took a clipping of my potus plant and didn't buy a plant and left my store, I would be like, this bitch just stole a piece of my plant.
Well, okay. Well, if you put it like that, I've never
But
done it, but I would be lying
as
if
like
I said it didn't
as
cross
a
my mind.
fellow, it didn't cross your mind. I mean, I feel it because these plants be hella expensive and they propagate
Yeah.
themselves, so it's like pure
Sometimes
profit.
you the other
So
day I picked up a plant
I
and I
feel
was like,
you.
"Ooh, nice. Like this would look nice." And then I looked at the price and it was like 90 euros. I said, "For why? For why is
Exactly
this
for
90
for
euros?"
nature,
I
for
put that shit
nature.
right
I know,
back
like
and walked away.
I feel you. I feel you. No, 100%. Like sometimes even when I'm on the street and you see like one of them nice, like beautiful plants, and you can tell it's one that you can propagate, I'd be like, can I just pull up on the side of the road and like cut off a piece real quick and just go home and grow my own plant? Like,
Tell Will to get out,
because
cut
to
a
me
clipping
that's
and
not
drive off.
stealing. Like if you like at a
I
hotel and they got this
mean,
beautiful plant and you took a clipping of it and went home, I wouldn't consider that stealing.
well, I feel like you can argue your way out of that one because you did like the ethical boundaries here are a little blurred. Because I mean, you did pay to be in the hotel, so like
What if you just,
you
it's like
you
DV
can
and
argue your
you
way
just went
through
to the
it.
beach and, on the way you saw some landscaping that caught your eye and you just took a little piece to go home. Like, I mean, the
Yeah,
reason
I mean,
why I
yeah,
feel
you
like
could
it's kind of
argue
a
that
gray
it's in
area.
nature.
Yeah, it is a
It's
gray
in
area because
nature.
people have done this to like my mom and it kind of pissed her off because she was like, we had like this big rose tree and someone did that where they drove past our house and then they went to take like a propagation off of the plant. But because they were dumb and didn't know what the hell they were doing, they screwed up the plant and then the plant died.
Damn. I mean,
So,
that's different because that's your house. Somebody went on your fucking
yeah,
like
property,
close by
right?
your
Like,
front door
technically,
and was like, "Ooh, let's grab one of these."
I want this. Like, this is cute. Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's a gray area.
It's a gray area.
I wouldn't put you in jail for that, but
No, I mean
someone
that'd be
petty
crazy if
might,
somebody.
a Karen might, I don't know. Like
Yeah, gray area.
bro.
Decision
So
made. Gray
like
area.
it's a gray area. So I've been thinking a lot about festivals, right? Like lately, because like
Mm-hmm.
as the world opens back, and as we are now in our lavish 20s, I'm trying to live life and live up before I bring more life into this world. Because I've been seeing people get married left and right and
Damn,
producing
you
children
talking about kids?
left and right. No, I'm saying like I see other people doing this,
Oh,
and it's kind of
yeah.
like scaring me a little bit because I'm like, shit, like those people are like my age. And then I look at William and I'm like, you better not get no plans, bro, because relax,
Bring
like
the ring
relax.
back.
Yeah, like relax. But like with festivals, I've just been thinking about them because like obviously I want to go to a bunch, and like I really like one of the festivals that I like always thought I wanted to go to as a kid was like Woodstock, like the '69 Woodstock, because it would look like such a vibe of like love and peace and people just enjoying music. And then I watched this
Hmm.
documentary about the last Woodstock in '99.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wasn't
gosh.
that a shit? I didn't know much about it, but Netflix made it seem like it was a shit fest.
Oh, it was oh my god. Like I just watched the whole thing. It was terrible. Oh my
Wait,
god, it was so
don't tell
bad.
me everything, but give me like two characteristics of what happened.
Um, Capitalism and peace and love don't go together. That will be my
Nat-
first point.
naturally.
And
Yeah.
rock music can definitely instigate poor behavior. And I do
A lot of
think
mosh
that like the
pits.
reputation of like Woodstock 69 put a lot of like the wrong idea into a lot of young men's mind about what like Woodstock was all about, and I think people turned it into like a like sex driven drug fest of like insanity that just got amplified by like very violent rock music. It's the best way I can describe it. Paired with kids
Damn.
that hated the idea of how capitalism ruined something that was meant to be like a festival of like real love and enjoying the earth and like being one and like being all like, just free spirited. Like to me, it was such a shame because as a girl who like obviously wants to be able to live her like freely. Like I felt so bad for the girls there because they were being sexualized left and right. Like these girls couldn't be topless without some dude every like 2 seconds trying to grope them. It was just insane.
Ugh.
Like exactly like it's just like oh it's so sickening to think about. And yeah, it was a shit show. But that being said, like I just been trying to think about like all the other festivals that I would love to go to, even though because Woodstock is obviously never going to be a thing again, thanks to those mofo's. So like just trying to think like obviously
Tomorrowland.
Coachella, Tomorrowland. Would you go to Burning Man?
I'd have to do some more research on that, but
Have you heard about it or no?
yes, yes, I have. I think one of the quotes that somebody said is, "What happens at Burning Man stays at Burning Man." So that kind of sets the tone for what is happening at Burning Man.
I mean, I would totally
Um,
go. It
I mean,
sounds
it looks
fun.
like an experience. It looks like an experience, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Tomorrowland looks like a lot of fun too.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard about
Tomorrowland
this
sounds lit.
Siget festival. I think that's in Budapest.
Mm.
That's also a
That
nice
sounds
one.
fun.
What else?
I would love to
What
go to
else?
like
What
a
else? What else?
blondish like performance or something. Like I love her vibe, so it'd be cool to go to like one of her shows.
Blondish?
Yeah.
Who
I
is
love
this?
her like DJ mixes. She was like on the island and like I love her mixes. No, I love what she's all about. But I'm just trying to plan cuz like I would love to like yeah, go to festivals and like obviously you have to plan and like know what you have to bring because like you have to like obviously have like tents or like have your camping
Yeah.
sitch put together and like go with a squad But it's a part of living my best
Mm,
life, is to go out and jam to great music with great people and just live life and enjoy the moment
have
and
an experience. Yeah, there's a lot
yeah,
of
have
festivals that
fun.
happen in Holland. But a lot of them are like, I think, hardstyle and techno, which
You don't
is
have any
not
like Afro
really.
fests or like more
They just
Caribbean
had a
stuff?
reggae festival. I think it was a reggae festival in Rotterdam, and that seemed interesting. I couldn't go, but that seemed interesting. But a lot of the times, the
I
festivals that
feel
they
you.
do have are like techno and hardstyle, I think, and that's not
Oh.
like one
Are
or
there
two
cool like
songs.
venues in
Fine.
Netherlands?
Um,
Or is it
Venues in
like just
terms
your
of where they
typical
just
stage?
hold. Well, we have
Yeah.
the Ziggo Dome in Amsterdam, which is where like a lot of
Mm.
artists perform when they're on their tours. There's a there's another little one, not smaller one in Amsterdam as well. I can't remember the name of that, which is where a lot of other events also happen. But I
I
think it
feel
kind of
you.
just happens all around. Depends on the city.
Yeah.
But Ziggo Dome is like the main like place.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, there's
Yeah.
just like some cool like venues in the States that I would love to go to a show to at. Like, for example, look up like Red Rocks Amphitheater in like Colorado. That place looks like such a cool vibe. Because of just like the natural rock formations into like this dope amphitheater. And like I had a friend that went to a Kurgabin concert there, and Kurgabin is like my favorite band. So I can only imagine. Like their
Ooh, this
vibes
looks
are
really
next level,
interesting.
right? So cool. And it's like it's just nature, like I like places that I feel like allow you to vibe but like showcase the beauty of nature and they bring people
Oh,
together to like have such a cool experience.
and there's a photo of it like at sunset, so you see a lot of the pink
Yeah.
and blue hues. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
pretty.
Right? What? I know. Seems like such a vibe.
Yeah.
I'm adding it to the bucket list. I'm trying to say, like, I've been trying to like figure out how do I plan for the life that I know I want to have the experiences that I know I really feel called to have, and like sort of like manifesting my life or like writing the play or the storyline to like my existence so that you know I
Yeah,
can
but I
live it
feel
up.
to a certain extent you can do that, but life, there's a lot of shit that just goes on that's out of your control, So you can have a plan and you can I mean, yeah, you can have a plan and you can have certain ways you'd like that plan to play out, but then life has plays its course and kind of can
Of
fuck that
course.
up or deter it
Of
or give
course.
you something even better that you didn't know that you can have, so to a
This is
certain
true.
extent planning is good to create structure and make sure that you're moving and that you're progressing and
Facts.
growing, but don't over plan, don't
No,
have the
I look
plan
at
by a
it
chokehold.
No, I feel you, I feel you. No, I look at it as planning, but without setting expectations. So it's like you can have a
Yeah,
plan,
that's a
but
good
don't
idea.
set an
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
expectation. Yeah, exactly. Because I feel you. Because like it's one thing that I really like that you said that. Because like it's one thing that I've been like thinking about is like how do you plan, but you don't get so attached to your plan that it like stops you from really experiencing. Because you're like, oh my god, like if this is not going perfectly to plan. That means it's a shit show when really it's like
Hmm.
you can plan as much as you want, but like you said, like life is always gonna have its own like plans
Yeah,
for you. Like you might say, I want to go to the Grand Canyon, but you get to the Grand Canyon and like the entrance is closed. So like where are you gonna go now? Like you just gotta flow with it. Like, okay, I'm here, but we're just
yeah,
gonna flow. So I feel you. And I honestly feel like when you don't set it, when you don't expect anything, like it allows you to be much more open to the experience and you
yeah.
can have like you discover things that maybe you weren't expecting to discover, but that makes it better cuz it's like it just happens, and you're not like holding back. You're like, "Oh my god, like this is still good. I
Yeah,
can still
exactly.
enjoy myself."
Still have
Yeah.
like an idea of where you'd like to go and things you'd like to do
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. Have an idea and of course, create ways that you can get to that place because else, yeah, you can't really see if you're growing or progressing. If you don't really have a plan and you're just kind of like, oh, I'll see what happens all the time. If it works for
Yeah,
you, then of course, to each their own. But I feel like, if you try to control too many things, you're constantly going to be met with
exactly.
setbacks. And I've learned
Exactly,
that the hard
exactly.
way with some things as well. It's like you can't really have control over everything. You're always going to be met with some kind of wall if you try to really have a chokehold on everything.
Exactly. Like Will has this saying that I like where it's like control the controllable and everything else
Yeah.
just let it go. Like
Yeah, exactly.
and it can be hard
Exactly. Like
cuz like your ego wants
like
to control
simple, yeah,
everything.
like simple things, like as if you get stuck in traffic and there's a traffic jam because of an accident or something, like you can't control that. You can't, this isn't
Yeah,
your fault, this isn't something that you did to put yourself in this place. It just so happens that
exactly.
there's a traffic jam, so just accept the fact that you're going to be in the car for a while, and then just be like, it is what it is.
How
The
can we make the
infamous
most
phrase,
of
it
it?
is what it is. Exactly. And how can we make this an enjoyable experience, or an experience where you're not, I guess, depending on people, bored as fuck, or where you're able to do something and
Yeah.
keep yourself busy. I think
Yeah,
that's one of
exactly.
the most simplest examples, is that you didn't do anything to purposely put yourself here, so you can't control this outcome. You can just sit your ass down and
Yeah.
entertain yourself until you can start moving again.
Literally like that's like when you say like it is what it is, like that's like something that I've been trying to just accept every day is like it is what it is. You know, life is what it is. And like our ego constantly is trying to fight that with our
Yeah.
expectations or our assumptions or our wants and needs. And that causes us to suffer so much. And it's like, there's no need for that. Like, there's really no need because it is what it is. Like, there's literally nothing you can
Yeah.
do about that. It is what it is. But yet, it
I
can
feel
be
like
so
people,
hard for
like
us to accept.
that phrase can be used very dangerously too.
Yeah.
Like
To
when
just
people
dismiss
just,
people. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, or dismiss their own behavior. It's like, oh well, it
Like,
is
it
what it
is what
is.
it
It's like,
is.
no, it isn't. It isn't. It's your stupid ass behavior. Like,
Yeah. People use it to not take
so
accountability. Yeah.
yeah, and just stamp a "it is what it is" on it. It's like, no, it isn't.
Like I am the way that I am. You're just gonna have to accept it. I'm like, so you're
Yeah,
not gonna
which is
take
also
any
dangerous
responsibility?
mindset.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
like you're
which is
not gonna
also a
take
dangerous mindset.
responsibility. It's crazy.
Exactly.
People
You're not gonna
people can easily convince themselves of so much, Rach. It's like insane. Like I'm surprised most people aren't sane, let's be real. But it's like the way that we talk ourselves into being crazy is like
crazy
so
how.
much easier than you think. Like when people like dismiss stuff and they're like, "Well, it is what it is. Like I don't need to take any accountability." Like and they talk themselves into being like, "Oh, well, everybody else just doesn't understand me, and because they don't understand
Yeah.
me and I love myself, I'm just going to cut them off and say, well, clearly, we just aren't meant to work together or whatever." Instead of like trying to understand that like we are supposed to be able to work together. Like our social nature is
Yeah.
so unique to like our
Well,
humanity and like
I
for
don't
us to
even
not
think
take
it has
any
to do with.
accountability, like
I don't think it has any much to do with we are able to work together. It just has a lot to do with self reflection and understanding that, in the simplest terms, you fucked up. You need to acknowledge that you fucked up, and then you go on from there. But if I
some people
have
don't want
also
to
run
admit
into,
they
I
fucked
think,
up.
no, but it also has to do with insecurities. It has to do with the fact that they failed, or the fact that they did something wrong, and that hurt their ego if they admit it. And I mean, I know everybody has come into contact with somebody who had that kind of behavior, or who even
I feel
portrayed that
you.
behavior themselves. And it's just it that kind of behavior is, I don't want to use toxic. It's very self-sabotaging. It's also very immature in a way, because if you go on a thing to the what you just said, like that's one road of thinking, where it's just like, oh, I didn't do anything, that maybe we're just not meant to work together, and we're not, you're on your lower vibration than me, so I'm just gonna cut you off. When it's just like, no, you had a really shitty attitude, you did not take accountability, and instead of doing so, I think that's also dangerous behavior, to be like, oh, we're not on the same level. It's like, no, you messed up. You did something that was not okay.
Or they go on the
Or
defensive where they'll be like, "Oh, so you think you're better than me because you pointed out this flaw in me? Like who do you think you are? Like you're not better than me. Like
that's
we all have
also,
work to
yeah,
do." And it's
that's
like
also
that sounds like
insecurity.
manipulation.
Yeah, and
But
that's also insecurity.
okay.
That comes from a place
Yeah.
of ego and insecurity as well, which is also yeah. Yeah.
The ego is
And
an
it's also a
onion. That's what
learning.
I've learned.
Yeah.
It's an onion.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
more you peel, the more you have to peel until you realize that it's nothing. Like that's why
The
I feel
more you
like
peel, the more you have
I
to
just try
peel.
not to judge. Yeah, the more you peel, the more you gotta peel. Cause like people will think that they're enlightened or that they somehow have reached like some sort of great understanding. And then they try to
Yeah.
use that against other people. And they're like, oh, look at these people who are just taking photos for the gram. Like, look at them. Like, oh, you shouldn't care. And it's like, why do you care?